I hate detours. I hate slowdowns. I hate things. Language prevents those detours. So years ago, we had a staff member that literally was like, he was speaking at one of our locations. He said, hey, this church is built on faith, hope, and love. I'm like, that's a great Bible verse, but that's not the mission of our church. Went back and said, hey, no, don't ever say that again. That is not the language of this house. Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of the Toddcast, where we ignore all the others because this is the Toddcast that's going to grow your leadership to a whole nother level. Before we go any further, here's what I want you to do. I want you to comment below right now. If you put your email address in the comments below, I'm going to draw somebody for a free $50 Starbucks gift card. What do you think about that, Jordan?
Sounds good to me.
Free
Starbucks.
$50 if it's free?
It's for me.
Come on, go ahead right now, do it. Put your email address in there, and I'll comment saying, why am I putting my email address publicly? I don't know any other way to do it. So that's what we're going to do. Drop it in there. I'll put you in a drawing. Jordan will pick your name out of a hat, and guess what? We will send you a gift card to Starbucks.
Let's go. $50, y'all.
Great. I can't believe it, Jordan. This thing's been doing really, really well. We're not where we want to be yet in the amount of viewers yet, we're growing significantly, not where we want to be yet. One thing we're lacking in is comments. Not getting a lot of comments. We want comments, want you to share, want you to save it, want you to message somebody else, send it to somebody else. If you think this content impacts your life or helps you grow to a new level, et cetera, et cetera. Make sure you go ahead, toddbishop.tv. I got a ton of free resources for you. And then I got ones you pay for. Toddbishop.tv, there's articles that we write on leadership, things that are out there to help you grow like that. And then there's some resources you can buy. My book, Leadership Unleashed, which is here.
There it is.
There it is. Underneath that, Prosperity Unleashed, which is my newest book. And then you have The Human Right. And then you have this book, Leveraging Tension. We don't talk about that a lot, but I wrote that just before 2020. What perfect timing.
Yeah.
Came just for, I was talking about managing the tension that, a lot of people try and ignore tension. A lot of people try and walk away from it or avoid it. But you really have to learn to leverage it because tension actually builds your life in a way, peaceful times or good times can't. So, hard to believe. This is episode number 4.
Episode 4, yeah.
Episode 4, we've grown by thousands of followers. Views have gone up. Trying to get to a point where we can get this content. We're not looking to be viral. We're looking to be visionary. We want to make sure we get this in the right people's hands so they can do everything. Another thing, not only am I disappointed, Jordan, about not being able to get the comments, but we didn't get one person to submit a t-shirt design for Toddcasters.
Toddcasters. That's
Toddomania.
It's the coolest name.
I'm just saying, so you know what? I'm going to design my own and pay myself $50.
You might have to.
I'm probably going to have to, so I can just wear it here with pride. So anyway, that was just something that bothered me too. So make sure you guys log in that. Anyway, log in and do that. You still could do it. Until somebody does it.
Yeah.
$50 is there. $50 is for Starbucks. We're just, come on. It's like Oprah. You get a car and you get, no, we're not giving away cars. That is not what we're doing.
No.
The only thing we're giving, $50.
$50. Let's go.
That's it. That's all I got. I ain't Mr. Beast yet.
Oh my goodness.
But one day, Mr. Beast, I'm coming for you.
That's a tough one.
Mr. Beast, you keep doing what you're doing, man. I am not even coming close to what you're doing. I just want to put this in the right people's hands. But God bless you, Mr. Beast. Why don't you bring me on one of your episodes?
Yeah. We'd love to have you part of the
I'd bring you on my Toddcast, too.
Absolutely.
Mr. Beast and the Toddcast? Oh.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be Beastcast.
Beastcast.
Come on, let's go. Let's collab on this, Mr. Beast. Anyway, enough about that. Jordan, we got any other stuff to talk about before we jump into our content today?
No, make sure just go on the link below and try to get your hands on Pastor Todd's books. And, this is going to be an exciting Toddcast. We do have an exciting one for next week, too. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the next episode is going to be pretty good. Actually, I think, are we having a guest on that one?
We are.
We are. Our first ever guest, which is going to be my wife, Mary.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about relationships, marriage, dating, and sex.
talk about.
Drop the mic.
Drop the mic.
You're not going to want to miss that next one, but you're going to be in for that. And then we're going to bring on some guests coming in, and I think it's going to be good. How many still looking for what Jordan looks like? I'm just saying, we're giving away money, we're hiding Jordan's identity, and we got a guest. And my wife next week. Great. Here we go. Let's go in. All right.
Let's go.
I was thinking, Jordan, about this one, and we're racking our brain. What content should we bring in this episode? And you said, hey, you did this one teaching with this. I think it was you and my wife actually said you did this one that I think about language, about your words, how important they are. And so I want to do this, Toddcast on the topic of what the why language matters. That's what we're going to do this on. Why language matters. There's a lot of Christian curse words, by the way.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with anything. A lot of Christian curse word, like is there a curse word you go to like that's Christian that's not a curse word but it makes you feel better?
Fudge.
What the
fudge?
Oh my goodness. There were some words I can't say them anymore, but there were some words I used to say, but now it's like, oh, stink.
Yeah.
I still sometimes say, oh, freaking mother.
Crap monkeys is my favorite.
Crap monkeys is
literally
I forgot about
favorite.
crap monkeys.
That's my favorite.
That should go viral. I mean, you hit your thumb, crap monkeys.
Crap monkeys. That's my favorite.
I forgot I say that. It's so natural for me. I don't even think, oh, crap monkeys comes out. Or here's another one I say all the time. I mean, oh, demon.
A demon. That's demon. That's what's coming out.
Thank God we believe in deliverance from demons.
Let's go.
So language. So it's interesting, right, how powerful your tongue is. And for you guys that are watching, listening right now, your tongue, it speaks a lot of words in a day. And it depends. Actually, physiologically, when you compare men to women speak twice as much as men in a day. I don't know how old that study is, but shows that, some like to talk, some don't. I think there's some men that also don't like to talk. So I don't necessarily know if it's gender related, how much you speak, whether or not you care to speak. That to me is the important thing. And so like me, I talk a lot. I speak a lot in a week. I talk to a lot of people. And when I usually talk, this is a little different, but when I speak on a Sunday to our church, it's like, hey, everybody, we're so glad you're here. God's going to move in your life and you're going to, and everything. And I'll go on and on and on. And what I've learned is there's power in pause moments too, that you don't have to go a mile a minute. It's not just what you speak, it's how you speak it. And sometimes what happens is they think, well, if I could just say the right thing, but I say it in the wrong tone. So I could say to you right now, your life sucks, and leave it there. And you're going to be like, that's pretty depressing. Or you could say, hey, you may feel like your life sucks. There's a big difference between your life sucks and you may feel that way. Because there's times we feel certain ways about certain things, but it doesn't mean your feelings are right. And that's why you got to look at your language and you got to say, well, why is language so important? I mean, you think about how important language was. What's the first thing God did in creation? He spoke, and then there was. Words were so powerful that they had creative power to them. And that's a thing a lot of people don't talk about. The words you speak are going to create the future you embrace. Let me say it again. Roll it back. Rewind. The words you speak, they're going to be able to evoke I don't even remember what I said. What was it? It was so good. What was it, Jordan? The words you speak. What is it, Jordan?
No.
I don't, it doesn't matter. It was so good. Rewind, hit play again.
You know what? I'm going to do that on post.
Yeah,
I got
do
you.
that on post. The words you speak are going to create the future you embrace.
We'll be right back.
The words you speak today, they're going to actually create the future you have tomorrow. And that's just true. I mean, whatever you say today is going to produce something in your future. And here's one thing you got to know about me. We don't edit. It's raw. It's real. It is what it is. There's not much of a script. I have a little outline in front of me on this. But anyway, why language matters. I love this passage in James. It basically says this. And so the tongue is a small part of the body, yet it carries great power. I mean, this thing right here, it's just a small fraction of the entire entity of who you are, yet there's so much power attached to that tongue that you have. I mean, I've heard marriages get destroyed because of what somebody said. Relationships get broken because of what somebody said. That small little piece of your tongue called your tongue can actually cause great damage. It goes on to say in James that just think of how a small flame can start a huge forest fire. Now, on Long Island at the time of this, we had a huge fire take place on Long Island. It was all over the east end of Long Island. I don't know how much was damaged, but the craziest thing about that, Jordan, is you think, man, it's dry out. It just something.
It was real windy. And
windy. You think, man, one little thing comes up and it goes and gets on a dry pile of leaves.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't that. It was some guy cooking s'mores and starts a fire that spreads and impacts all the east end of Long Island.
Yeah.
It's crazy. People couldn't drive, smoke all over the highways. People are stopping videotaping it, putting it on their social. All it started with was one guy cooking a s'mores that impacted an entire island, 118 miles, east end, a little short than that. You think about that, your tongue can influence everybody around you.
Yeah.
In fact, it does. I was having a conversation with somebody recently, and we're just talking about some of the physical stuff they're going through. And they literally said this. They said, oh my gosh, I think I'm going to die. And I looked at them and said, don't say that. The power of life and death is in the tongue. Scripture says, with a long life, I will satisfy you. And so you got to be careful what you say. You got to be careful how you say it. And then you also have to be careful why you say it. It's not just what, it's just not how, it's also why. What's the why behind your words? Because every word we have articulated in the right way can actually bring healing to somebody's life. I'll give you an example. Jordan knows this, but when I preach, if I'm preaching on a serious subject, what do I do differently, Jordan?
If it's serious, you're wearing a serious outfit.
I'm going to wear a serious outfit, so I might wear a suit.
Yeah.
I might wear something little dress pants and a button-up shirt. Why do I do that? It's not just what I'm saying, it's how I'm saying it. I want to look like the authority in the room. Now, if I'm preaching on something that's like a heavy subject emotionally, I'm going to add jokes into my communication to lighten the mood at certain points. I'm going to bring people on an emotional journey in the language I use to communicate. It's not just what I say, it's how I say it, why I say it, and then last, it's when you say it. You got to know when to make dramatic pauses. Like if I say to you, hey, right now, God wants to touch your life and bless you in ways you can never, ever imagine. And here we go. If I go to you, hey, here's what I know. God wants to bless your life. He wants to touch you in ways you could never, ever imagine. Think about that for a minute. Pause right now and say, God, how can you bless my life? You see how different it feels with the tone, the speed, the natural pauses in communication that allow you to speed up, but also sometimes to slow down. So language matters. Language matters because words matter. Words matter so much to your life. They matter to you. For me, I know words matter to me a lot. I need words. One of my love languages, words of affirmation, and for my wife, physical touch. But words of affirmation, I enjoy hearing that. I don't need it from everybody. I need it from the right people. I'll go, hey, how was that message today? Hey, what'd you think of that? Hey, did I communicate that okay? I need to hear that back because words are so powerful. Because I never really heard my dad say, I'm proud of you. I didn't hear much. I love you growing up. All those things. And so those words actually are powerful to me. And I learned this young in ministry and in leadership that your words actually create worlds. The power of your words, when you speak those words, Jordan, to people, and you see somebody and you say, man, you did a great job. I'm proud of you. It's awesome. Keep going. All those words make a difference in somebody's life. And so why language matters. Here we go. Episode 4. Oh, yeah. Did you put your email in the comments so I can put you in the drawing and send you a Starbucks gift card? You need to do that. Did you design a Toddomania? You didn't yet. Do it. We got $50 on the line for both of those, Jordan, right?
Come on, yes.
I'm just saying. Okay. Well, here, let me give you a couple of principles. 5 little principles here about why language matters. Number 1, language defines reality. Language defines reality. A lot of times what happens is the words you speak, you think, man, there's no way this is going to make a difference. Every word you speak, hear me today, every word you speak has weight. That's why you got to be so cautious with the words you speak. So if you're always talking about yourself, I'm such a loser. I mean, I've said that before. Have you said that, Jordan?
Yes.
What an idiot. Now I don't say that stuff anymore. You know what I say? Man, I'm brilliant. Thank you, God, for the gift of my mind. I'm not putting those, because your language is going to define your reality. So if you say what you're not as though you are, you'll become what you're saying. But if you could say what you believe you're going to be as though it already happened, you're going to move your life in that direction. Does that make sense? I mean, at some point, you've got to be able to say, you know what I am? I'm successful. That's why I love Joel Osteen. I mean, Joel, one of the most encouraging guys on the planet. Yeah. He'll get up there, he'll go, this is my Bible. I am what it says I am. I have what it says I have. Today I will be taught the word of God. I boldly confess. My mind is alert. My heart is receptive. I'll never be the same. Does that? You think about that. It is a declaration. I'm ready. It's not, my week was terrible. This is going on. No, it's what are you going to do? And then he added, Jordan, I don't know exactly when, but he added this thing where he's got this, where the whole church says this declaration. I'm gifted, I'm talented, I'm called, I'm anointed, I'm a child of God. It goes on for almost 2 minutes. Wow. Where they're just declaring that. Why? Because there's power in your words. Words have weight. Words create worlds. Language defines your reality. It's going to tell people how you think about yourself. So if you're with a group of people and you're joking and you're taking pot shots at yourself, you're defining your reality that you don't think much of yourself. So you got to be so cautious that you kind of make sure you're speaking words that lift you up, encourage you, build you up. When you're by yourself, you got to do it. When you're with other people, you got to do it. You don't want to be that person that's always beating yourself down. And here's what I know. A lot of times what happens is people's past begins to define their reality instead of their language. I am not a product of my past. It's contributed. I am a product of my words. Because my words actually started somewhere else. Started right here in my mind. And if my mind is right, my words will be right. So if I'm speaking negatively about myself and defining my own reality in business, in life, in my future, in my destiny, in my marriage, it starts here. I've had some wrong thoughts. So I got to recalibrate my mind. So your language is going to first define your reality. It lets you know that your language and the words you speak might not be as healthy as they should be. Now, I sometimes struggle with this. I don't know. Do you, Jordan? I struggle with this. And it's probably why I talk about this a lot with the staff in the church, because there's power in your words, because this tongue can do a heck of a lot of damage to our lives, to our relationships, family. So, number one, language defines reality. It's going to define the reality of who you are and who you'll become. Number two, language creates alignment. Now, this is important because in business, you got to have the right language. We say things like this in our church. A church alive is worth the drive. Everybody in our church knows that. We say you don't give to a local church, you give through a local church. These are things because it's aligning us together in unity. We want to make sure we're in the same thing. So if you're talking negative about yourself or your company and someone's talking positive, you're not in alignment. You got to make sure you're all talking positive about what's happening. Now, does that mean you deny what's some of the realities? No, but you're seeing the good in everything. Like at the time of this recording, we're planning for a Sunday event, and there's a 50% chance it's going to rain. And so in our meeting that we had, they said, well, there's a 50% chance it's going to rain. And then I simply jumped in and said, there's a 50% chance it ain't going to rain. I won't tell you who said that. But I will tell you this. I'm trying to see the positive in anything because it creates alignment. So if everybody's thinking, it's going to rain on Sunday, then guess what people are thinking? Well, we got to pivot on what we wanted to do. No, there's a 50% chance it's not going to rain. Let's keep moving in the direction of the positive side of the words that we speak. And I think a lot of people, they don't sharpen their language enough to stay in alignment with each other. So I'll tell you, in our house, you will never hear us say the D word, divorce. You'll never hear us say that. We don't talk like that. It's not an option. We don't even speak that word. It's not allowed in our house. Why? Words have weight. Words create worlds. When you sit here and you think, man, it's alignment, here's why. My wife, Mary, and I, we're in alignment. That is never going to happen to us. We're saying, no, we're speaking this. We're going to be together 50 plus years. We're going to be married. We're not yet. I mean, we still got a ways to go to get to 50. You just want to clarify. You're like, wow, you look good for 80. Thank you. Like, we've been married, 23 years. We got 27 more to go, 27 great years at minimum. That's what we prayed for. Hey, we want to have at least 50 years together as a happy, healthy marriage. What are we doing? We're declaring that. This is what we're going to do. It defines alignment. It keeps us heading in the right direction. So it creates that alignment in our life. And if you don't define what you hope for, you'll never experience what you want.
That's good.
Man, I want a big church. What does that mean? Man, I want to have a Fortune 500 company. What does that mean? I want to be able to create this. How? How are you going to do that? What's the actionable steps? Because you're creating alignment with people. It's not just saying these huge things out in the ethereal somewhere. You've got to actually have a roadmap, a plan to get people there, or else you're not creating an alignment. That's what language does. It creates alignment. Okay. 1, it defines reality. 2, it creates alignment. 3, language prevents detours. I hate detours. I don't like it. I like A to B. Let me get where I want to be, Jordan. When all of a sudden I see this is a frustrating thing for me. This happens all the time on our main highway. It's the LIE, Long Island Expressway. There's an accident over here. It's off on the shoulder. Doesn't affect anybody, but here's everybody driving.
Everybody's so nosy.
Want to see what happened.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Then they slow down.
It's the worst. Yeah.
And you're like, can you drive? It has no bearing on your life. Keep moving. I hate detours. I hate slowdowns. I hate things. Language prevents those detours. So years ago, we had a staff member that literally was like, he was speaking at one of our locations. He said, hey, this church is built on faith, hope, and love. I'm like, that's a great Bible verse, but that's not the mission of our church. Went back and said, hey, no, don't ever say that again. That is not the language of this house. And so you've got to almost be crazy about that. Like when people start saying right or wrong language in your personal life, in your business life, in your church life, language is going to prevent detours. And there's a lot of leaders today that just assume people understand what they mean. Now, I sometimes struggle with this as well because when you're busy and you're trying to go, but my grandma taught me when I was young, I can't say it, when you assume, you make a out of yourself. You have to be very careful that when you're making assumptions that they understand, if they don't clearly understand where you're supposed to go, it's going to take the whole organization on a detour. So we're talking in one of our meetings today, and there's an idea. Someone came and presented an idea to us. And my son Malachi came up to me, Jordan, and he said this, where does that fit in our 5 focuses?
Wow.
It's like, great question. I said, well, I think it could fit here and here. He goes, okay, we'll see. What he was doing, he wasn't pushing back. He was pulling forward. He was saying, Dad, it's got to fit in what we're called to do, or else it's going to be a detour.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, that's a big catch from a 20-year-old young man, young leader that's saying, hey, Dad, don't want us going down detours. Where does this fit? Our languages, there's these 5 focuses. Where does it fit in all that? I think so often what we end up doing is we allow ourselves to get off on these rabbit trails. It's the old quote, the man who chases 2 rabbits catches neither. I mean, you can't go all over the place. So your language is going to give you a direction. It's going to set you on the course. Like the mission statement of our church, we exist to inspire hope, unleash potential, and change lives. That's what we do. If we do those 3 things, doesn't matter if we do or don't do anything else. If we're inspiring people, if we're helping people unleash their full redemptive potential, if their lives are being changed, that makes it all worth it. And so our language defines the reality we have. Our language prevents detours, and our language ultimately helps us create alignment with one another. We need that in business, in church, in leadership. You have to have all of those things. Okay, number 4, language shapes culture. Language shapes culture. Now, this is really important because in my mind, your culture is more important than your vision. Now, yeah, but my vision. You can have a great vision with bad culture, and guess what? Your organization is going to suck.
Yeah.
What I love about our culture that we're developing is it's a lot like a family. We care for each other. We look out for each other. We buy gifts for each other's kids. We're at each other's house for holidays if there's no other place to go. What do we do? We're creating a culture of unity, a culture of family, a culture of you matter to us. Your identity and branding matters to your culture. Your language is going to shape your culture. So if I go up and I tell someone on our staff and I say, hey, man, you really need to improve in this one area. And if you don't, I'm going to fire you. Well, that's going to be tough. But if I go and I say, hey, listen, there's this category you got to work on. I want you to do A, B, C, and D. Let's meet in 3 months. Let's see how you've improved in that. You know what I've created? A growth culture, not a gangster culture. Oh, let's talk about that. I mean, there's so many leaders that they have gangster culture. Man, you ain't doing it. You out. You fired. You're gone. And you know what they create? A fearful culture that if I do something wrong, things ain't going to go in the way we're supposed to go. I'm going to lose my job. Several years ago, I told our staff, I said, if you don't have 5 failures this year, I don't know if I can keep you on staff because I need you to have more risk. I need to take more risk. I need to be able to try new things, experiment with new things. And so I think what ends up happening is we think, well, my vision's going to drive everything. I don't think your vision drives everything as much as your culture does. And your language is going to shape your culture, the words you say. And this is one, Jordan, I think I've gotten better at. I think sometimes I knee-jerk with my words. And I'll say something that I'll have to come back, yeah, I didn't mean it. And everybody's like, I think you might have. I may have meant it. The problem is it came out the wrong way.
Execution. Yeah. I have that problem too.
But we have a culture of honor.
Yeah.
And that's one of our things. Personally, that's a high value of culture. I have, a friend of mine, he's a pastor. He oversees New York Assemblies of God. And I always say, hey, Dr. Durst. Hey, DPD is the lowest I'll do. Or, hey, Pastor Dwayne. It's Dwayne. And I'll be like, I can't, it's not in my DNA because I want to honor you and your position. And so I called him the other day and I said, hey, Dr. Durst. He goes, hey, Reverend Bishop. So I know what he's saying. But there's a culture of honor I have there. And I honor pastors and I honor leaders in my life. And I'll never walk up to my pastor and say, hey, David, that's crazy. My culture is, hey, Pastor David. I want to honor him. There's a language is going to shape a culture. And I think one of the things that can happen in your business, your nonprofit, your church, is sometimes we think, well, I got a great vision and we're not going anywhere. I actually think your culture is the gasoline to your vision. And if you don't have the right culture, you can have the greatest vision in the world. And I've seen many leaders, we were just talking about this at the day of this recording, talking about many leaders we know. They were at the epitome of their career in business, in church, leadership, and they face plant.
Yeah.
They make a mistake. You know why? Their heart culture wasn't right. Somewhere their culture got manipulated or adjusted. And so I think what we've got to do is understand that your language is going to build or shape the identity of your business. And so your language is going to shape the culture. What kind of culture do you want? It's a culture you're going to speak. You're going to have to speak that culture. So we say this all the time. When we receive the offering at Church Unleashed, our church, which you should check out, mychurchunleashed.tv, we never say we're going to take the offering. What does that mean? Put my hands up, reach in my pocket and take it out? No. We use the word, it is our honor to receive your offering today to the Lord. we're receiving it on behalf of God and using it to expand his kingdom. It's very specific language that we use when it comes to that. We're trying to honor that. But in that same token, we'll say, hey, everybody, we're a radically generous church. Now, I know not everybody in my church is radically generous. But what am I'm calling it out of them. Hey, we're radically generous. You may not be, but we collectively are.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pull out, as Joel Osteen says, the seeds of greatness in everybody. I'm trying to see it in them. So language is going to shape your culture. What language are you using in business? What language are you using in your church? What language are you using in the company you started? How's your language? So language defines reality. Language creates alignment. Language prevents detours. Language shapes culture. And language models consistency. Now, this is going to sound crazy, but you cannot let anybody hijack your language. Can't let them do it. They'll try and good staff members will do it. People in your life will do it. And you have to always, nope, it's consistent. This is what we do. This is what we say. We don't call our auditorium a sanctuary. We call it an auditorium. Now, there's some people that don't like that. I don't care. This is what we call it, an auditorium. Why? We reach a lot of lost people.
Yeah.
And if they hear sanctuary, they think unworthy. I'm not allowed. It's a holy place that I don't belong. But when they hear auditorium, they think, well, I just went to see this concert in an auditorium. I can go in there. And then boom, we hit them with God's word and God's love. It's all methodical, everything about it. The language, our guest relations team. Well, that sounds so Disney. It kind of does. Why? Because everybody loves Disney except me.
Hey.
Jordan loves Disney.
I love Disney.
He loves Disney. I pray for him.
They're struggling.
He
right
needs
now. They're
deliverance from
struggling.
Disney. I mean, their prices are through the roof right
Yeah.
now. My goodness.
I love old Disney.
That's why they're struggling right now,
Yeah.
I think. But you think about this. It's when you start thinking about the consistency, your language is so important.
Yeah.
And so, like, we use the word guest relations simply, it sounds corporate, professional. You got ushers. What the heck's an usher? Greeters. Now, we use some of that language internally, but hey, see one of our guest relations team members. We try and use the language that's the same. And when you're in multiple locations, we have 4 locations, you use the same language. In every environment you're in, whether you're on your digital location, whether you're on Comac, whether you're Massapequa, whether you're at our university, you literally, all the language is going to be the same. You have to have it because it actually shows consistency that, well, you don't have this organization here and this one here. No, we're one group meeting in multiple places. Language models consistency. If the team doesn't know the language, everybody else isn't going to know it either. So you got to make sure you repeat.
Yeah.
Vision leaks, culture leaks, people leak. They can get it in them, and then they forget. Now, what was that again? You have to say it, spray it, wheel it, and deal it until they feel it nonstop. You got to get it at them all the time. Language matters. Your words matter about what you speak about yourself, what you speak about your business, what you speak about your marriage, what you speak about your children. Oh, let's talk about that for a second, Jordan. I mean, people say, oh, man, it's the terrible twos. Don't even say that. We never said that about our kids. It's going to be the terrific twos. Our kids are blessed. Our seed will be mighty in the land. Father, thank you that they will have the favor of God and the favor of man. Thank you that you're giving them the words to speak. May they be your voice to their generation. We didn't allow that, and we've had great kids. Our kids are still great. It had to be Mary because, you think about it, it's everything you speak.
Yeah.
Everything you speak. I learned something last week, Jordan. So I always say to Mary, I say, oh, man, hey, babe, you're so hot. And she said to me, I shouldn't even say this. She said to me, I don't like that. So what do you mean? No, that language is beneath me. So I said, okay. So now I went the other day, I said, hey, babe, you're so hot, beautiful. You know what she was saying? I know what you mean, Todd.
Yeah.
And you're complimenting me, but that's not how I receive it. Here's what I know. My wife's not a piece of property. She's beautiful inside and outside. Her spirit is strong. Everything about her, it's a language, right? And incidentally, I was reading in Proverbs 31, Jordan, very interesting passage of scripture. It basically said that the wife of a virtuous man is adorned in fine linen. And I literally said to myself, my wife should not be wearing knockoffs anymore. She should be adorned in everything. Gucci, Prada. She doesn't like Balenciaga. But she should be wearing fine linen. She shouldn't have to feel like, well, I got to go to Marshall's and get it. No, I'm not opposed to that. We do it all the time. But there should be times where I, as her husband, adorn her in fine linen. Okay? And I'm not talking something for later. I'm talking about something that she can wear out. All right? That just came out, Jordan. That just came out. Language models consistency. And yes, I am consistently crazy at times. All right. So let me give you really quick some quick keys to protect your language. These are quick keys. This will help you in your business, in your life, in your church. Number one, define your key language. You have to define your language. Don't let somebody else define it for you. You must define your key language. It's so important. So if you have a term you do not want used, tell your team, your staff, your volunteers, hey, that's not the language we use. Now, you're going to think at first, when you first start saying this, man, why are you so crazy about this? Because language matters.
Yeah.
It matters. And so you got to define key language. Like, we don't say campuses. Mm-hmm. We don't say we have 4 campuses. We say we have 4 locations now. We changed that not too long ago, and here's why. People were getting confused.
Yeah.
People said, wait, we have a school that we're at in Massapequa? There's a university? No. Ooh. Campus, people think school. Oh, didn't realize that. So we went to like locations and eliminated all the confusion that could be there. Because here's what I know. If you don't define key terms, you'll have confusion in those. And what we want is clear over clever.
Yeah.
It's got to be clear so people understand it, not creative or clever, because it could be the most creative thing on the planet and people don't get the messaging. Mm-hmm. And so you got to define key terms. So that's one of the things for us. Another thing that we're pretty big on, we do not call our pastors by their first name. It's Pastor Todd, Pastor Matt, Pastor Mary, Pastor Gina. That's what Pastor Milton, Pastor Dana. We go down there. Why? Because there is a level of terms that we want. We want people to know our pastors are to be honored in the house. Mm-hmm. It's not just their profession. It is their calling. And so we look at some of those all the time. I mean, it's something, and I blow it sometimes, Jordan. Come on, I say some stupid things. No?
I mean, sometimes.
Sometimes, and I look in the front, and Mary's like,
oh, man.
She puts her head.
We need to have a Pastor Mary reaction camera.
We need a reaction camera for Mary. It's like the kiss cam. We need the Mary cam. So whenever there's something foolish said, we just pan to her.
Just pan to her.
Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, so you got to define key terms. Second thing you got to do is you got to train the leaders and team. You have to train people in the right language to use. And so if you're a pastor in a church, well, how do I do that? Have an all-team meeting. Mm-hmm. If they're employees of yours, have a staff meeting. Say, hey, I want to talk about this. I was coaching a guy, a great guy, owns a pizzeria. It's a great pizzeria on Long Island. I think it's one of the better ones. I was coaching him about language, and so I called, and I wanted to see how they answered the phone.
That's good.
I was like, my goodness.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like you say, hey, when you're here, you're family. It didn't feel like family. It felt like a normal pizzeria. So I said, hey, here's some language adjustments that hey, welcome to Vito's Pizzeria, where when you're here, you're family. How can I take your, it's those little things you think, well, that's crazy. No, it's not.
Intentional.
You're training people because intentional language actually becomes informational decisions. Let me say it again. Intentional language becomes informational decisions. I got that one.
That's good.
Intentional language becomes informational decisions. If I say it again, I'll remember it. Intentional language becomes informational decisions. The more intentional I am with the language, the more people can make an informed decision. Like when you come to our church, say, what kind of church are you? Well, we're a Pentecostal church. What does that mean? It means, oh, whoa, I got to explain that. When people come to our church, say, what kind of denomination? Well, we're part of a small denomination, but we welcome everybody here. How much easier is that to explain than going into, well, we're not Catholic. We're Protestant. You can tell we're not Catholic. We have smoke. I remember one time, Jordan, We had this lady, Catholic lady, she came to church, and she came to one of our newcomers receptions. And she goes, I really love the church. It's different than the Catholic church I've been in. But I want to know, why do you burn so much incense? It was our smoke machine.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't have the nerve. I'll be honest, I lied to her. I did not have the nerve to tell her it wasn't incense. I said, well, we're welcoming the presence of a holy God.
The haze machine. That's funny.
Language matters.
It does.
Language matters. So you got to train leaders and team. You can see we even fail. And then what is this? You got to monitor language use. Number 3, you got to monitor language use. You got to make sure they're using the right language. Listen in on what people are saying. Lean in. Stop talking and start listening. Listen. Call. If you have a company, call from a blocked number and see how they answer the phone. See how the process is. See how it goes. I have a friend of mine. He's the president of a CEO of a credit union. And I literally texted him about something about his app. I said, man, your app is terrible, man. I said, like, when I was in Citibank, blah, blah, blah. He goes, well, we're a small credit union. So he called me. He said, man, we're working on the app. We're going to have a new app. You're going to be very happy with that. I was like, yes.
Nice.
You know, what did this guy do? He could have just brushed me off.
Yeah.
He said, wait a minute. One of my friends, who's also my pastor, I brought him into my credit union, said, hey, there's a problem here, and he fixed it. He maintained it. He went to his people, got it all handled. Now they're going to unload a new app. I mean, think about it. He's listening. That's what you have to do. You have to sometimes listen to what the pulse of what's happening around you so you can actually get and produce what you want in your leadership. So you got to monitor language. You have to correct language drift ASAP. Let me say it again. You have to correct language drift ASAP. You can't wait. Anytime Jordan knows this, any meeting I'm in, if you shift from the language, whoa. Come on, have you heard me do that?
Yeah, we don't say that.
No, that's not what we say.
Yeah.
We don't say that. Oh, at my location. Whoa.
Nope.
No. It's not my. It's at our Comac location or at our Massapee or at our university. It's not mine, like I own this thing. No, it's ours. It's a community thing that we do. We don't use words like, well, I'm glad you're here today. So the rest of the staff aren't? No, it's always, we're glad you're here today. We're glad you're part of this experience. It's not I, me, it's we, us. It's always, we're going to monitor it. We're going to correct it right away. And I don't care. Jordan, have you ever seen me correct it in front of volunteers?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Whoa. No. That's not what we meant. Why? Because you have to correct it right away. Because if what you don't correct or confront will end up correcting or confronting you later. You've got to make sure, and it's not a good correction. It's a negative correction. I think what ends up happening is you got to make sure I'm hitting this bad boy right now, and we're not going to let you say that again. And somebody's, wow, that's harsh. You embarrass that person. I don't think it's embarrassing to leaders. I think it's embarrassing to wannabes.
That's good.
When you want to grow, and someone corrects you, you're like, thank you. Like when I posted a picture a long time ago, I don't know, maybe a year ago, and I posted a picture. We had a couple girls from the university. I had a group of them, and I had put my arms up like this. My pastor screenshot it, texted me and said, don't ever do that again. Whenever taking a picture with females, put your hands in front of you so no one can ever say anything that you touched them, you did it. I was like, I wasn't even thinking that. And I honestly wasn't. I wasn't thinking, oh my gosh. I was just thinking, because I'm a touchy-feely person, even though I'm not Italian. And so I literally, every picture, Jordan, how are my hands?
Right in the front.
Right in the front?
Yeah.
Can't be accused. Why? Pastor corrected me. I didn't get mad. I didn't get angry. You know what I did? I did something that a lot of people, I submitted. I said, Pastor, if you saw that, let's make the adjustment. So you got to correct that right away. And then finally, you got to celebrate alignment. When people are speaking the right, yeah, let's go. You got that right. Way to get that. Like even sometimes when people finish a statement that we say in church, Jordan, somebody's like, yeah, great job. What gets rewarded gets repeated.
Yeah.
So you celebrate alignment. Say, hey, that was great. I love the language you used there. I remember I was talking with one of the staff members. They had to correct a volunteer. And I am saying, hey, tell me how'd the conversation go? And I said, man, your language was strong. Way to carry the right language. And they hear that, And then it goes into the back of their psyche and they say, oh, he thought the language was good. Remember how I spoke to that person. So the next time it's in there, I can do it again. Language matters because it sets the course of your life. It sets the course of your ministry. It sets the course of your church, your organization, your business, your nonprofit. Whatever you're a part of, your language is going to matter. And you've got to really look within and ask yourself, how's your language? What's your culture like? How do you speak to each other? How do you speak about each other? How do you speak for each other? How do you speak to protect each other? Your language is going to matter because it does 5 things. One, language defines your reality. Language creates alignment. It prevents detours. It shapes culture, and it models consistency. And what's modeled actually becomes manufactured. It becomes so simple. You model it, then it's mass produced. And when it's mass produced, you can then cultivate that in multiple people. It seemed like it was harder, Jordan, when we were a smaller church. Now that we're bigger, that modeling is actually working expeditiously. Ooh, SAT word. It's working faster. It's building things up faster. And so we've realized that the more our language is right, the more it's going to model consistency. And the more you model, the more you manufacture, because then you can actually produce that in more people. And that's why it's so important. So why language matters. Here's what I want you to do. Not only are you supposed to drop your email in so we can put you in the drawing for a free $50 Starbucks gift card.
Come on. Easy.
Free.
Easy.
This is easy. Email. Boom, right there. We'll get you in the drawing. We'll send you a digital gift card. You're supposed to do a t-shirt design for
the Toddcasters.
Toddcasters. Or
Toddamania.
Which I kind of like that too. Come up with something creative. You can win $50 for that. I've had no takers so far. Somebody's got to do it.
Easy.
I think Jordan's thinking about it right now.
I'm going to start.
Jordan's going to be like, I'm going to do it. Nobody's going to do it. I got $100 in my pocket. And so, make sure you kind of lock into that, because we want to create more content. And I also know the algorithm requires comments. So get those comments in there so we can keep pumping this content out to other people. And then, hey, if this content kind of appealed to you and you said, man, language, drop some encouragement in the comments too. Maybe you don't want to put your email in there. Maybe you don't care about designing something. But man, encourage us. Let us know, hey, that content, that inspired me, that moved me, that spoke to me. Put it in there because your language matters to me. I need to hear that. I need to hear it from you. I don't just want viewers. I want relationship. I don't think God brings us together to be strangers, but friends. So if you're coming into my world through this, mode of communication, then let's not just be distant cousins. Let's be close friends. And I think that'd be a good thing. All right, Jordan, what do we got?
Let's like and subscribe. Make sure you follow us. Comment down below.
Yep.
Make sure you follow Pastor Todd on all his social medias.
That's at Todd R. Bishop.
Yes. And
We're not going to tell him yours, Jordan.
No.
Because we don't want him to know what you look like yet.
No, not yet.
Yeah.
I have an idea for a little small reveal. Small reveal. Yeah, I have an idea. And make sure you tap into those books. Get those books on his website.
ToddBishop.tv.
ToddBishop.tv. And get ready for next week. I mean,
next issue.
Yeah.
Next. What is issue?
So this
What's an issue? Is that like a cashew with an issue?
Maybe.
The next.
The next podcast.
Next podcast. Next session.
Episode 5.
Next episode. Episode 5. 5 means favor.
Pastor Mary
And
Bishop.
we got my wife on there, which means it's going to be better than it's been.
Super excited. And we could probably reveal maybe a potential podcast with you two.
With what?
A potential podcast with just you two. Another one.
Yeah. We're talking about that. We're talking about a podcast with just my wife and I called Unleash My Life, which will talk on a range of subjects. Most of this is going to be leadership and culture and things like that, but it could be about health, could be about anything.
Yeah.
So in the next session, we're going to talk about relationships, marriage, how to know if you got the right person in your life. We're talking about sex, dating, all those good things I think are going to help. How to select a mate, RPMs, recognizing potential mates.
Ooh,
that's what we're
good.
talking about. Nice. And then we'll talk about marriage and all that good stuff. So you're not going to want to miss it. Hey, thank you guys for joining us on this episode of the Toddcast, where we ignore all the others because we're bringing the truth of leadership so you can grow to the next level. We'll see you next time.